it is time for another unboxing. I've got something Hermes, and if you have been around for a little while, this is something that I've spoken about a lot. It is a pair of shoes, so we're going to unbox them. And because it is Lunar New Year, or it's coming up on Lunar New Year, they have given me a little lunar gift as well. I'm gonna unbox this at the end. I have wanted the Oasis sandals for the longest time, and I don't know why. I kept like going to get them and then putting it off. We've got a little envelope here, and it's got my invoice and a card for the particular sales associate that helped me out. Little recommendation about trying these shoes on carpet, because obviously if they're scuffed and they're not in resellable condition, you can't return them. And we have the gorgeous shoes. I swear my Orans came in a bigger box than this, but maybe it didn't. Maybe it was just this size and I'm like not remembering it. The shoes are in 2 dust bags. I say this every single time. When I travel generally, I only ever take 1 dust bag with me. I know some people who want to take both because they don't want their shoes like scuffing against each other, but I just don't need that many bags, like honestly. Tissue paper in the front, and here they are. These are the Oasis, and they are part of, I guess, their core range. So these shoes are always around. They've got them in neutral colorways, they've got them in exotic materials, they've got them in, you know, all the colors of the rainbow, but these are white or Blanc. I got these in a size 34 because one, they do make them in a 34 and it's the smallest size that they have. I have owned their Orans for a couple of years now, and I have that in a 34 as well, and it just fits really, really well. I don't know if I'm going to be keeping all these bags and boxes because I actually just genuinely don't have the space for them, and I'm getting to a point where I don't see the point of keeping this many boxes. Now, while I'm super excited to have these shoes, I feel like there's very little to explain about them. So these are made from calf skin, and there is a difference with the Orans. Let me get my Orans first. So I think this change happened a couple of years ago, but you can see with my Oasis that the insole here is still brown. If I am not mistaken, with the Orans now, they are made to match the color of the shoe. So you no longer have the brown insole. If you get black, you have black. If you get Blanc, you have Blanc. If you get gold, you have gold. So it's kind of like cohesive throughout. That change has not made it to their Oasis yet. This particular pair of shoes is contrast stitching, so the stitching is not the same color as the leather. It is a different color. In this case, it is brown. We've got the iconic H cutout, which they use across a range of their shoes. Off the top of my head, I feel like there's four primary pairs of shoes that they do that have the H cut out. So the first one being the Orans, which is the iconic H on a flat, so basically an open-toed sandal, I guess. You've got the Oasis, which is on a little block heel. Then you've got the Santorini, which is pretty much like the Orans, but you get like a little ankle strap situation. And then finally you have the Legend, which is more similar to this, but it's a wedge and it's also got an ankle strap on it. Now granted, there are a lot of other styles where they use the iconic H, but I feel like those 4 are like the staples, and then a lot of the new ones like the dad sandals and things like that, they're newer styles and they tend to use a thicker like H. It's almost like if you were to put it in like font, it was like in bold. Back to the Oasis. The heel on this is 5 centimeters, which I feel like is a good heel. I think anything higher than this is definitely, at least for me, not a day-to-day shoe. I definitely, like, this is not like a go to work and clonk around for like 14 hours, but I feel like this could very much be like running errands, grocery shopping, like day-to-day in that sense. If you have never owned shoes like this, don't do what I did with my Orans and buy them and then 2 days later go to Brisbane, because you will blister. I did not think I would ever have to break in like sandals, because I've never had to do that with any of my flats. I've always broken in heels, but I didn't break in my sandals. And with my Orans, it was like this particular section, like the corners here, that caused me to blister. So I will definitely be breaking these in before I go wearing them for extended periods of time outside of the house. Now, on to my Lunar present. The lady that served me, mind you, was very sweet. Obviously, she made an assumption because I look like this. And when we got to the counter for checkout, she was like, "Oh, do you celebrate Chinese New Year?" I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Okay, well, we're giving away red envelopes, like red packets, and I'll get a box for you." And so basically, oh my God, why are there so many? I thought there'd be like 4 or something. What is going on here? Look at that. There's so many in there. I'm gonna try and get this out. Oh my God. I know a lot of luxury brands do these because I've seen plenty of unboxings, but I've just I don't think I normally, I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm just never buying around Lunar New Year time. That is, oh my God. Let me show you from the start. So, envelope open. For those of you who don't know, it is the year of the horse, so everything's like horse themed. You pull this open, and I don't even think this, like, you can see it properly, but there's like an entire artwork layered in here. Look at that. That is gorgeous. And then in the back is where you put the money. I will say this is a very like elaborate over the top red envelope, but it's Hermes and I expected nothing less. I will say this was a nice little side treat. There's 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 10 envelopes in here total. I don't even know if I'm going to manage to get this one back in. But like I said, nice little added treat on the side. I'm not getting that back in. Like, I'm just going to give up now. But we are, what, 2 months into the year, and this is our second unboxing. So looks like it's going to be a fun year for me. But I will pop any links down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are. Bye!